Fascinated by the sounds of modern society, John Cage developed a radical definition of music, different from traditional views of melody, harmony, and instrumentation. He believed that music was an occasion for reformation, that should be an exemplar of how human beings relate to the world and to one another. Having an affinity for sound, John Cage allowed for a grand expansion in the possibilities of music by rendering all sounds acceptable to the 20th century listener. Cage focused on using noise as an instrument in order to harness the power of sound, breaking away from the traditional shackles of euphony.
As the noted musical scholar Daniel Hurwitz notes, Cage's aim is to obliterate his own expected presence in sound. Freed from our own fixation on the composer's hand, mind, and desires, we can wake up to the excellence of that hitherto dormant world of sound, which is nothing other than happening to happen, and that sound is everywhere. This is to lead us from music to the doors of the world.
When I hear what we call music, it seems to me that someone is talking, and talking about his feelings or about his ideas of relationships. But when I hear traffic, the sound of traffic here on 6th Avenue, for instance, I don't have the feeling that anyone is talking. I have the feeling that sound is acting. And I love the activity of sound. What it does is it gets louder and quieter, and it gets higher and lower, and it gets longer and shorter. It does all those things which I'm completely satisfied with that. I don't need sound to talk to me.
For his contributions to the innovation of music, Dickinson College honored him with the College Arts Award in 1970. Along with his acceptance of the award, students performed a select number of his compositions. These pieces included Aria for the solo voice, the electronic Fontana mix, sonatas and interludes for the prepared piano, 6 melodies for live violin and piano, and the digitalized cartridge music. The variants of these said pieces showcase Cage's lifelong ambition to open the minds and ears of the listener.
When I talk about music, it finally comes to people's minds that I'm talking about sound that doesn't mean anything, that is not inner, but is just outer. And they say, these people who understand that finally say, you mean it's just sounds? Thinking that for something to just be a sound is to be useless. Whereas I love sounds just as they are. And I have no need for them to be anything more than what they are. I don't want them to be psychological. I don't want a sound to pretend that it's a bucket or that it's a president or that it's in love with another sound. I just want it to be a sound. And I'm not so stupid either. There was a German philosopher who's very well known, Immanuel Kant, and he said there are two things that don't have to mean anything. One is music, and the other is laughter. Don't have to mean anything, that is, in order to give us very deep pleasure.
While many people criticize his work, John Cage made important strides in the field of music. His unconventional methods further define music and its many unique ways of listening to it. Cage's avant-garde style of composition went on to influence many future artists in the development of musical understanding.
Most notably, you are about to hear the third construction. This quartet utilizes instruments such as tin cans, conch shells, and cricket collars. A culturally varied instrumentation leads to a diversified interpretation and enjoyment of the work itself.